So Filthy Rake, he's a Diamond level player. He reached Masters at 1.2, so he's pretty good. He'll be casting with us. He'll be casting for us actually. So that would be pretty sick. I'm kind of excited. It's ZVZ. All right, so let's wait for Damon Knight before we get this started. He's actually a Protoss player. He's one of the founders of Storm Gaming. He at last minute he decided to join and help us out because I can't cast this game. I can't, and neither can Seth. So he's gonna be our main guy. So let's wait for Damon Knight, aka Filthy Rake. He's getting set. Meanwhile, while we do that, let's talk about these two players real quick. So DB has the preview of Dark Menace versus Regret.
Good evening and welcome to a very exciting night of our FSL family, fun, friend, all that good stuff, StarCraft League that we have going on here. So much fun. And tonight we feature a very special match. This is our first Code S playoff match. The winner and champion of Code A gets to play the 4th place qualifier of Code S for the first playoff game here in Code S. And of course, none other than Dark Menace, who came in 3rd place last season, is now made it into the playoffs in that 4th place spot, and he will be up against our Code A champion, who is none other than our returning champion from last season, Mr. Regret. And Regret in very nice fashion just kind of swept through and won that Code A championship. And here he is, ready to make his debut in Code S playoffs, and I just really excited about this matchup tonight, and I think Regret might have a chance here. If Dark Menace is not on his A game, we could see something interesting happen. But don't underestimate Dark Menace. Amazing player, and we don't know what's going to happen. This is going to be really fun. Anyway, let's look at our players real quick before we get started. We have Dark Menace, a Zerg player in the Diamond League with an MMR of 3,549. At 12 years old, his StarCraft 2 strategy, he likes to do drones for days. Droning. Keep them dronings droning. His favorite StarCraft 2 players are Cyril and Maru, and he will be going up against the returning champion from Code A last year, Mr. Regret, also a Zerg player in the Platinum League at 13 years old. And as far as his strategies go, yeah, he likes to do all kinds of stuff too. So this will be a fun game. Honestly, don't know who's going to take this.
It's very
best
trippy,
of 7.
not
Could
being
go
production
7.
for the stream.
We don't know.
Hold on, guys. You guys are on
All I
stream.
can say is good luck, gentlemen. Have fun, and we look forward to talking to you when this is done.
All right. Thanks, DB, for that introduction and preview of the matchup tonight. I'm here with Damon Knight, Filthy Rake. How you doing, Damon? Oh, we gotta... I think, is he muted? Okay, there you go. Hey, guys. Damon.
Hey,
How you
KJ.
doing? So, Damon, Filthy Rake's founder of Storm Gaming. He'll be casting tonight's best of 7, and he took this job at the last minute, and amazingly he's available to help us out, and it's a ZVZ. Are you excited about that?
Who doesn't love the knife fight in a phone booth that is ZVZ? So I am looking forward to it.
Exactly. And so Damon is not used to having a whole production team and a tournament admin all set up behind this. He's just kind of like talking. So we're using him for his talent, just talking. But we'll get to see his video cam later on too, between the games, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
I promise nothing. I was not ready to do this. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well, so the way this works, if we want to talk about this is the opening night of Code S, right? And Regret here, who's at the bottom right there on the video cam, he won Code A, so he moves up to Code S playoffs, and he gets to face the seed that is Dark Menace. So that's what's happening here. We're ready to go whenever you guys are. It's best of 7. Damon, take it away.
Yeah, I have, unfortunately, being the terrible man that I am, I've not been following along all season. This is going to be my first time watching these players, but I've heard wonderful things from KJ. Really excited to see how it goes as we load up here into Light Shade LE. This is, again, ZVZ, so I am expecting a lot of action and excitement from these two awesome players. I'm also expecting that I'm going to call Regret Isaac a whole lot, because that is his in-game name at the moment. But we're going to go ahead and do our player introductions, starting up here in the top left-hand corner. In the red, as this lovely Zerg player, it is Regret. And then, of course, in the bottom right, we have his light blue opponent, also playing Zerg. It is Dark Menace.
Dark Menace.
Our observer today, of course, is the wonderful Neutrophil helping out, so that I don't just have to do everything myself. I'm a big fan of this. So we're seeing pretty standard openings here. We do have a bit of a difference, of course. You can see that Dark Menace went for the early pool play, where his opponent Regret went hatch first. So this is going to give Regret a bit of an economic lead, but of course he is going to be dealing with potentially early pressure from Dark Menace. Both players taking their gas. This is pretty standard stuff, honestly, from both players. These are both fairly safe openings, while they are a little bit different. Nothing too crazy, though, so far. You can see the overlords saying hi to each other. And you can just see some safety lings from Dark Menace. He's not doing anything too crazy. He's not flooding lings. There's no crazy cheese going on here. It's just going to be a little bit of running around, poking, prodding, and making sure that he doesn't die to anything. Regret doing the same sort of thing. He is building a few more lings, 6 versus the 2, but again, nothing too out of the ordinary. We've got ling speed coming out of Dark Menace. And, this is just kind of standard ZVZ, early game. Neither player wants to take any huge risk. This is a best of 7, right? They can feel each other out a little bit and get an idea of what to expect. They don't have to do anything too crazy. Now, what is interesting here, we have a Baneling Nest coming out of Regret, but a third base from Dark Menace with his own Baneling Nest behind it. This third base is going to be very interesting. It is getting scouted by Regret, so this is going to be caught fairly quickly. Ling's running, of course, around Regret's base. Again, just a little bit of, friendly scouting. They're not trying to get anything done here, though, of course, hoping maybe that a Ling can survive long enough and do some sneakiness a little bit later on. We do have the Roach Warren, of course, coming down from Regret as well. I love to see this, a little bit of, walling off going here with Evo Chambers. It's just what I like to see. Oh, man, even a Spine Crawler. He is definitely, expecting a lot of aggression here. Swall is beautiful, and there's defensive Banelings. I'm not going to do anything here. Hopefully he gets... I'm not sure if that was a cancel, though, or if he actually killed that building in construction. Hopefully it was a cancel. hate to lose that money early on. That safety spine crawler is really an interesting choice. So, as the game moves on here, the two players are going to start drifting further and further apart in what they're doing and in the style. This 2-base versus 3-base, if this winds up being a longer game, it could really go in Dark Menace's favor. He's going to have more larvae, which means he can build more units, he can have a better economy. While his tech is a little bit further behind, your roaches are already coming out for Dark Menace. They haven't even started, or rather, for Regret, they haven't even started for Dark Menace yet. So there's this little period where the lack of investment in economy from Regret gives him a bit of an edge if he wants to attack and push, where Dark Menace is really aiming for that longer game. That said, here come the units from Regret across the map. This is scouted by the Overlords. A little bit of friendly banter going on. Oh, no wall established with the Queen. So the Lings are getting right into the mineral line of Dark Menace. And the Queen's there, and he's doing his best. They're not getting a huge amount of damage done. Meanwhile, though, the Roaches up at the third, trying to intercept and do as much damage as they can. That said, they're getting caught off by themselves, and the Roaches of Dark Menace are eliminating the Roaches of Regret. And that was honestly really well held. I think Dark Menace is in a fantastic position after that hold. He is ahead in workers, 44 to 33. His army supply is lower, but he's got the larva, and he's in a good position. That said, this is a good push here, though. I know that KJ is trying to whisper in my ear unsuccessfully, I think. This is an interesting push. There's this push here coming in. The army supply is very much in Regret's favor, and he is just pouncing on top of the units of Dark Menace. That earlier hold was fantastic, but I just don't think he responded by building units, which at the time he needed to do, and he is in big trouble. And I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on. That 16 worker lead is great, but workers don't make very good defensive or attacking units. The Queens are getting picked off. He's trying to, hide his drones, keep them alive as best he can. Doing some mineral walking, trying to surround, just buy time. More Roaches are out defensively. And, he might be able to hold on at the front here, but in the meantime, he's lost all of his workers. He's down to 10, 9. And in the meantime, units continue to flood across the map. I thought Dark Menace was in a great position earlier, but just with his initial hold, but the follow-up attack really has him hurting. He's probably going to lose this third base while he has held on to his front door. Double army supply, or double supply basically, from his opponent. I just don't know if he has the mineral income to be able to stabilize at this point. He's still down in army supply. There's no reason he should be able to hold on to his third base. And 11 workers to 33, down in army supply. He's got that attack upgrade for his Roaches, which is great. And he's got his armor upgrade, so he's one upgrade ahead. But I just don't know that that's enough. Good surrounds. His Roaches are holding on, fighting for dear life, but I do think that, all he's really done is bought himself time. Roaches, units continue to stream across the map from Regret. He has backed off, but he picked off that third base, and he is in a pretty commanding position from here. Regret is taking his own third, but he's just up in every way except that Carapace armor upgrade. It was a really fantastic hold from Dark Menace, but he is going to have his work cut out for him to get back into the game at this point. Do have a Hydra Den coming down here from Regret as well. I love this. There's an old saying, when your head get more ahead. That is exactly what Regret is doing here. He's macroing up, he's teching up, he's droning again, he's getting those upgrades. This is exactly what you want to see in his position. Could he potentially just move across the map and win the game? Yeah, I think he probably could, but he's playing it a little bit safe, and he's making sure he's in a position where his maybe win is an almost definite win. The Ling's out here getting caught off a little bit. I know he was trying to get a nice surround with his roaches and his Lings. He does finally get the engagement going here. He's catching these units outside of the wall, which is fantastic, exactly what he wants to do, but the Lings have all died, and it's not the best fight. He should still take this, though. He's picking off all of the Ravagers. He's going after the Roaches now. That upgrade advantage, though, that Dark Menace has with that Carapace upgrade is fantastic. He is going to clean this up. Nice little bits of micro, trying to keep each and every Roach alive if he can, because he just doesn't have the economy to replace them. And, while he won that fight, he's still in a really rough spot. I mean, we're at 41 workers to 26. His opponent also still has a higher army supply. The tech's coming out. He's starting to build, I believe, a lurker den. Yes, he is. And, some lurkers are just going to mean really bad time for Dark Menace. He doesn't have, I don't think, any detection out on the map. He won't be able to see them when they burrow. This could be tough. There's no spores. His main is largely mined out. He's starting to transfer his workers over now to his natural, but I mean, he's still in. I don't know if we've got the income up on screen here, but your Regret is mining double what his opponent is. I moved the Spinecrawler across the map to do a little bit of annoying harassment, which I think is hilarious, and love that. And it does get cleaned up pretty easily by some Ravagers. In the meantime, again, Isaac is still just continuing to macro up. He has gotten a little bit supply blocked, but he is correcting that. He's getting his own Carapace upgrade finally, which is great to see. And we do have actually a move out here on the map from Dark Menace. He does still have that upgrade advantage right now, and that's only going to go away. But yeah, I know he feels like he has to make something happen here. But I just don't see how he realistically can. The armies are actually going to miss each other, and Dark Menace knows it, so he is diving on that third base. This is actually really fantastic. He's getting some great damage done here, while the army of Regret is split. Getting a lot of kills off of these Roaches, but the army is back here to reinforce. Some good splits, dodging those Ravager Biles. And if he burrows those Lurkers, there we go. Lurkers are burrowed. And this makes this just a really strong defensive position. And Dark Menace can't realistically engage into it. He's going to try to pick off those Ravagers with some Biles. But he only got the one. I just don't think he has any choice but to back off. That said, right, this kind of pressure is great. It keeps Regret back home. It keeps him from attacking, and it buys Dark Menace more and more time to try to work his way back into the game. This is actually a really low economic game here, right? Regret, who's ahead on 3 bases, still only has 46 workers. Dark Menace only has 36, but that's less huge of a lead, or a deficit, I should say, than normally it would be. We are looking like we're going to see an engagement here on the map. There is detection, and Regret wasn't really paying a huge amount of attention. Gonna lose a lurker here. That said, this army is just too big. There we go. There's the GG. Regret takes game number 1 in this best of 7. That was a nail biter of game. Very exciting. I am not used to talking this much. Really getting interested to see what changes come in game number 2 as a result of what just happened there.
Hey, so that was interesting, huh? Yeah. So that was a big deficit, a little bit of run-bys that really did a lot of damage.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting to see. The start of that macro game versus the aggressive game from Regret, and just how that stabilized or didn't.
Yep, and
I
looks like they're
really,
ready. Yeah.
yeah, we're just moving right along here in the lobby for game number 2. It looks like we're going to be on Oxide. Yeah, I don't know what my camera controls are to follow anymore. It's been too long. Cool.
Alright guys, this is
FSL Season 2 Code S.
All right. All right, we do have in the bottom left, this is
Dark Menace.
and of course his opponent in the top right-hand corner in the red, this is
Regret.
So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see, as I mentioned, how this plays out. We do have some interesting player colors here with the red and the orange, at least as I see it on my screen here. It's going to be fun to observe. We do see, of course, Dark Menace again going for that pretty early expansion. We're seeing the same thing from Regret. So this is a little bit more of a mirror image of each other, within a couple of seconds. We do have the Hatch Pool coming out of Dark Menace, whereas it is Hatch Gas Pool from Regret. Just again, minor differences for when the gas gets taken versus the pool. Not going to be any really significant change. Gas first player will obviously have more gas. They can potentially start their upgrades a little bit faster, where the pool player could pump out units a little bit faster. But I mean, we're talking about tiny differences here. Unlikely to make any real change in the outcome, even in the early game at this point. We're going to see what to expect from our players here. Well, this is a really early spine crawler coming out of Dark Menace. He definitely thinks that there are some shenanigans going to be coming in from Isaac. Or I should say Regret. Told you I was going to get that wrong, guys. It's going to happen a lot during this cast, because the name on my screen is not the right thing. We do see the Lings, a couple of them going across the map, the rest of his Lings staying at home, just taking out those destructible rocks. Both players getting speed. That early spine is just such an interesting choice. That's a pretty big investment. It will keep him safe from a lot of early aggression, but definitely an interesting choice. We do have the Baneling Nest coming out here from Regret pretty quickly, so it does seem likely that he will be a little more aggressive. Of course, it is possible that it's just a safety Baneling Nest, but he has seen the Spine Crawler. He knows his opponent is playing on the defensive, so he may adjust his strategy accordingly. Yeah, and look, you can see here, he's going to go and take a third. That's, in this position, I think that's exactly the right call. His opponent has shown that he's likely to again, be playing that more defensively, turtling up a little bit, and unlikely to be super aggressive himself. So why not take that opportunity, expand, probably safely. See the Roach Ward coming down from both players. Yeah, just a safety Baneling coming out from Regret. And wow, Dark Menace is really just going for that wall right off the bat. I think it's safe to say he is a bit concerned about an attack like he saw in the last game. We do have I think that's the Overlord upgrade for Overlord speed. Double gas being taken here by Dark Menace. And Roach is starting to be built. Yeah, there's that Pneumatized Carapace for the Overlord speed. This is just to get better scouting on his opponent. Excellent upgrade. Lair coming out as well. So we should see more tech coming out of Regret. And just double upgrades out of Dark Menace. He's turtling hard. He's starting to build those roaches. Not a lot. He's still droning up behind this. He is still a little bit ahead in workers and army. Very interesting play here. More Banelings, of course, coming out of Regret. He's getting his ranged attack as well. Both players getting their layers up. Yeah, a little, Ling snuck in there. Does see the Banelings. But not a lot of movement from either player yet. And they're taking this game very slowly. Gonna be interested to see what the game plan is. The weapon and armor upgrades for Dark Menace, he's gonna wind up with basically a 1 upgrade lead, but Roach speed is coming out of Regret, and we see that Infestation Pit coming out of Regret. So will be interesting to see what he wants to do. That. Let's see a bunch of Ravagers being morphed here by Dark Menace. Wow, Burrow. Oh, well, okay. Well, it was very briefly Burrow was being researched. Looks like that has been canceled. So yeah, there's going to be a window here where Dark Menace is way up in army supply. Way up. Like, it's not even a little bit close. It's 62 to 18 army supply, and he's going to have both of his upgrades finished here. Starting his +2 attack, and he's gonna be an upgrade ahead with that armor for a while. I would really love to see Dark Menace move out and do something with this lead that he's got right now. Pathogen Glands is finishing up, and we do see the Roaches starting to move out. Yeah, the Roaches Raptors moving across the map from Dark Menace. And this is the moment we've been waiting for here. This is 80 army supply to 60 with an upgrade lead. Getting up this ramp is going to be tricky, but he's just kind of shoving his way up. Great Corrosive Bios, and yeah, he's just getting right on top of this army from Regret. The army is being melted. The drones are being pulled to try to defend, and this is a tough position. The army can't really escape. Fungal comes out. Fantastic. But this looks like this is a pretty done game. I don't see reinforcements that many, at least, marching across the map, but 66 army to 20. Ling's mostly coming out. They're all just gonna get picked off. There's the GG, and this series is now tied up 1-1. That was a very different game than what we saw in the first one. Dark Menace definitely correcting after his loss in that first game, going really hard on the defensive, and then just moving out with kind of an overwhelming force.
Yeah, it looks like it was sort of a half and half gasless with some gas build, right? So typically that's a safety spine, but I don't know what happened on that.
It was such a strange build. Like I watch a lot of StarCraft, admittedly less these days, but I still watch a lot.
Yep.
And I haven't seen that build before.
It's like a modification of the gasless build, but with gas, so it's really funny.
Yeah. The safety spine felt like probably a bit of an overcorrection.
Yep.
But it worked out for him, so who am I to argue?
Yeah, exactly. It worked out. It also fooled Regret when he went up there and saw the gas, right? He's like, oh, okay, it's kind of like a normal build.
Yeah, just that flood of roaches. And he was actually really smart, right? Regret was scouting a whole bunch, but Dark Menace was hiding his roaches kind of in the corners of his base so that those speed overlords might not.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, we're here, game 3. Take it away.
Yeah, we're heading into game 3 on Pillars of Gold. Again, this is all tied up between our two players here in this Code S finals of the FSL.
FSL Season
Trying to get
2
loaded in
playoffs.
here. And we have begun. All right, and up in the top right corner, this is
Dark Menace.
and his opponent in the bottom left. This is
Regret.
you all watching at home. Hopefully that looked beautiful, but you have no idea how weird it is. I'm so used to being a one-man production crew, having to just watch an observer and trust in other people to hit the right buttons. It's very strange. I love it, but it's very strange. We do see Hatch first out of both players once again. And pretty safe standard opening. We're just gonna have to wait and see where the differences come in. We do have an earlier gas out of Regret. None has been taken yet by Dark Menace, which is interesting. Pull from both players as well. Dark Menace uses this basically just to get slightly ahead in workers. Gets a bit of an economic edge out of it. This is a pretty late gas, though, and this is just a gasless opening at this point. But usually you see gas taken fairly quickly, at least to get Ling speed. Going to be curious to see what he has coming out here. Regret, totally standard guys in gas. He's going to get that Ling speed almost certainly. There it is. We have the safety spine again coming out of Dark Menace. So this is looking a little bit like last game, but at this point, Dark Menace had at least taken his gas. Yeah, this is he's changing it up a little bit. Obviously what he did last game worked for him, so I think he's just trying to build on that. We do have the second gas now coming out from Isaac. If I'm Isaac, I'm hoping that he's learned a little bit after the last game, saw what Dark Menace did, and he can adapt, and maybe he plays this a little more aggressive, right? He can't be too aggressive because of that spine, but don't just let the opponent build that crazy army. Lings run past each other as they try to scout each other out. We do have the Lair coming here out of Regret and his own safety spine. Bit of an adjustment on both sides here. As Metabolic Boost finishes up, so those Lings can scurry around the map a little bit faster. Dark Menace's Lings, of course, just now arriving at the base, but yeah, they're not going anywhere. And just, the continued no gas from Dark Menace. He's going to have to take it. He's got his Roach Warren under construction. He will need gas at some point, or this doesn't work. Banley Nest coming down from Regret. Oh, and a Spire. I like that. I like the Spire a lot. Mutas in ZVZ can be one of those units that just really swing the game, diving in, jumping on workers, catching units out on the map, especially because early game, even most mid-game Zerg units don't shoot up. There's not a whole lot that Zerg can do against Mutas other than get their own. We do see all of the S's now coming in from Dark Menace, so we'll see him starting to pump Roaches out pretty shortly as all of these go in. That said, Regret got an Overlord in. He's scouting those gases. If he clicked on them, he can see how much gas is left, which would tell him that they've just recently been taken, and he should know something funky is up. But, these Mutas can start popping out pretty soon, faster than those Roaches are going to get across the map in any real numbers. And Roaches don't shoot up, so, little bit of a wasted Baneling there on a Ling, but that is okay. The real trick is just, I want to see units from Regret if he is going to hold this on. Those upgrades, double upgrades are coming here from Dark Menace. He's starting to pump out more and more Roaches. Here come the Mutas. Again, Roaches can't shoot up. Mutas beat Roaches in a fight, but Mutas also don't really do damage to Roaches. They live a really, really long time. So Mutas are not great at killing Roaches. They're great at killing the other guy, but they're not great at killing Roaches, especially with that armor upgrade. So if those Roaches start getting across the map before there are significant numbers of Mutas, this could turn into a base race, just trying to outlast each other and getting that damage done. So this is, it's tough to say how this is going to go. Dark Menace obviously has the supply lead. He's up in workers, he's up in army, and his army can't really, some of it at least, can't be hit by the other guy, which works well for him. We do see a lot of Lings starting to come out here from Isaac. I think he knows what's up, and those Mutas are starting to move out. I think this is fantastic. Keeping those Mutas at home wasn't doing him any good. If those Roaches move out across the map, he wants to engage them as far away from his base as he can. The rest of his units are moving out as well. This is actually fantastic. This will kind of split the attention. We do see the Spore Crawler coming down, but it isn't finished yet. It can't do anything. The single Queen up there can't do anything. It's going to get cleaned up. And the third base gets eliminated as well by the rest of the army. We do see the big Roach move out. And these Roaches are going to start to be tickled a little bit by these Lings. Just going to get delayed. But in the meantime, we just see so many workers have died. 21, 22 drones dead. This is a tough position for Dark Menace. But that said, there's a big clunk of Roaches just kind of moving across the map. He's trying to continue to do worker damage as best he can with those Mutalisks. But Queens and Spores, Mutas are not great about this. Engaging this directly is a little bit tricky. He is getting the Queens slowly but surely. But the Roaches have now shown up on the other side of the map. And they've busted in the front door, and there's nothing here to defend with. This is that base trade kind of situation I was talking about. There's a couple of Mutas here, a couple of Lings, but they're never going to kill this. There's only a few Mutas left. Spore Crawler is going to clean those up. So, while this looked really good for Regret, at the end, Dark Menace is taking this. He's got 3 times the supply. He's killed all of the workers of his opponent, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Dark Menace kind of ignored those Roaches, or Regret kind of ignored those Roaches, and Dark Menace just won with them. You think Mutas are better than Roaches because Roaches can't hit them, but yeah, if they don't fight each other, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so that was a totally a gasless build, but it was very late to attack with, right? The Mutas. I think if he had sent the Mutas right away, would have been much better for him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He I get that he was trying to build up a big number of them, But yeah, absolutely. I think moving out on the map with them, maybe picking off overlords, supply blocking, denying vision, or just pouncing on the workers earlier would have meant that that roach move out was much smaller.
Okay.
And, maybe that buys him enough time to either kill them off or just win the game.
Yeah. The other thing too is, when you have that many mutas and you see him coming, right? You probably have to send some home too, I think, or at least closer choke or make some spines or something. So that was the other thing. He had the tech advantage and maybe the worker advantage too. Do you remember?
Yeah, he did. Well, at least I think he did. I don't remember. The safety spine though. I think was a good idea, but he just needed to really, he needed like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, we'll pause it. I think Dark Menace is not ready. As soon as it starts, we'll do a pause, guys.
So yeah, we're going to be going to a quick pause here at the start of this game on I don't even know how to pronounce this map, Jagannatha.
Yeah, did you hear Fear Dragon try to pronounce it? It was funny.
I didn't. I missed that. It actually looks like they're just going for it, though.
Yeah, it looks like he got back in time and he's like, screw it, I'm gonna go. Anyway, take it away, Filthy Rake.
Yeah, and I admittedly don't actually know which hotkey is my observer, so I'm just kind of guessing here. But that is okay. So we're here in the bottom left corner. This is
Dark Menace.
And his opponent in the top right corner. This is
Regret.
All right, so it is now 2-1 in this best of 7 with Dark Menace ahead. I'm having to remember this because KJ, who's doing our production, has not been updating the map score in GameHeart. And I can call him out for this because it's entertaining for me to call him out for things. But yes, it is 2-1. This is game number 4 now. And of course, this is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting because these maps are starting to matter,
FSL
right? Where
Season 2
2 maps could win it for Dark Menace. We are seeing gases from both players, so we're not seeing a gasless opening here from Regret this time around. Or from Dark Menace, I should say, this time around. Yeah, guys right into the gas right off the bat. So this is a little more standard coming out this game. And this is the part of ZVZ that is terrible for everyone because we just kind of sit around and wait for something to happen, for a decision to get made, right? This part of the game is still very autopilot. We do have that's actually a little bit interesting here. We see 6lings from Regret, which is pretty normal. We see 8 from Dark Menace, which is a little bit higher than you usually see. We do have, of course, also Ling speed started here from both players. Dark Menace isn't really doing anything crazy here. He's just, clearing out his destructible rocks. And more Lings being built. This is kind of an aggressive opening from Dark Menace here. And here comes the Baneling Nest. Oh, and he's hiding Lings in the back of his base. Okay, yeah, this is interesting, all right? So, Regret taking the third, getting his own Baneling Nest, but, seeing the Lings being hidden by Dark Menace, and more Lings being built here, I definitely think we're going to see an attack fairly early once that Baneling Nest is finished up. So this is really the most early game aggression we've seen so far yet this series. I think this is excellent, right? Dark Menace is up. He is in a really good position to do something a little bit funky like this. Now, there is a safety spine coming out from his opponent. His opponent is flooding his own Lings. So, the timing is really what this is going to come down to. I would have loved to see those Lings move across the map a little bit earlier. That way, he could have morphed the Banelings on the other side of the map as soon as the Baneling nest was ready. Now, the Banelings are playing catch up. He's having to morph them in kind of piecemeal. And he is going to get over here. He's going to see the spine. He's going to see the Banelings of his opponent. And Regret should be able to hold this without any real issue. A couple Banelings go off there. Supply is really even, but Regret has more larvae. Some big Baneling hits though. This is anybody's game here. The supply is very even. We do see a wall off coming here from Regret. I think that is very smart in his position. But again, right, that extra base with that extra larva could be a pretty huge deal. I don't think that Dark Menace is even aware of that third base. He doesn't know that he probably feels ahead right now, but he is not. He is behind. Spine's moving forward here, do a little bit of damage. These Evo Chambers will probably go down, but this buys time. This lets more Banelings morph, this lets more Lings be built. And with that extra base too, he can get a good surround on Dark Menace. Oh, that was not a bad Baneling connection there. Baneling connections all over the place, but Regret does clean up the attack of Dark Menace. Dark Menace building some more Lings, but also starting to drone, both players getting their Roach Warrens up, and I think we're just going to start to see the game transition a little bit. The real question, of course, is going to be, will Regret does he realize that he's ahead? Does he know he can just potentially flood units and counterattack pretty hard here? I don't think he does. I think he's going to play it safe as well. We see him droning up. So I think we're just going to go into a bit of a macro game here for a little while. Getting that wall off with the spine. Just nice and safe. He can always move the spine later when he wants to open the front door. This base has been scouted. These Lings, there's nothing really here to stop them, so they'll pick off that queen. They'll get some damage done. I'll probably clean up these workers. There we go, spine moved, so this base will be defended and saved, maybe. He's taking more damage than he needs to, giving away some units, but that's okay. Base is safe. More Banelings coming in to be annoying, but kind of wasted on the building itself. We do have the third, though, also coming down from Dark Menace. And I should also point out, of course, that these, I believe, are both Diamond League players. So if I'm being a little bit hard on them, but actually, this is they're playing completely reasonably for their level. I'm calling out mistakes that I would pick on a GSL player for, but your average Diamond player, not so much. We do have the attack upgrade here coming out for Regret. This actually, he's putting himself in a really good position here. With that earlier base, he's getting earlier tech upgrades. There's no upgrades started from Dark Menace. He is getting a lair. There we go. Just now finally starting his own attack upgrades, but he is going to be behind for a little while. That said, he is starting to push roaches out. And I don't know that we've actually seen any roaches being built from Regret. He's getting the upgrades. He's getting ready to build them. But we saw this from Dark Menace last time, right? Kind of waiting and then flooding them out. I wonder if we're going to see that out of Isaac this game. Those upgrades just aren't going to do a whole lot of good if he doesn't actually build roaches. There we go. Admittedly, Isaac is supply blocked. I don't think he's noticed that he's not building overlords yet. There we go. Supply block, of course, is the great enemy of all StarCraft 2 players. We do have, let's say, Glial Reconstitution, trying to remember my upgrade names. Oh, some nice Baneling hits. Get 4 workers and take every little bit. But yeah, speed is coming out for roaches on both sides. There we go, finishing up. Hey, look, I actually got the name right. I haven't forgotten everything. And we do have level 2 attack upgrades here coming out for Regret, as well as the Hydra Den. Fantastic for that extra DPS, or potentially for lurkers down the road. Do have the Carapace upgrade again coming in a bit later for Dark Menace, and Isaac supply blocked again, which is brutal. You know, he wants to be getting ahead, not catching up. And anytime you're supply blocked like that, you're just spending your time catching up for a little while. Again, his army is, well, it was stronger. They're even again now, but it's about to swing back in Regret's favor. Oh, these Lings just ran straight to their dooms by pure bad luck. And we're going to see the army of Regret pulling back, though his ground Carapace is about to finish. We do see some rather interesting safety spines being built. I think he knows that an attack is coming here. Army supplies not too terribly far apart. The upgrade advantage will work in Regret's favor. But he doesn't really have a lot of Ravagers. Can't throw down the same number of vials as his opponent just yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And you can see, like, Regret has no fear. He's just running his army forward. He knows he's got that armor upgrade for a little bit longer, and he's about to have an attack upgrade advantage as well. So he just jumps on this army, killing those Ravagers as fast as he can. And now, you know, he's gotten an army, and his opponent doesn't. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration. His opponent's remaining army is back at his base on the other side of the map. We've got Hydras coming out now. So in, you know, more even battles, this is really going to start to favor Regret. Again, he's pouncing forward. He knows he has an upgrade advantage. It used to be in armor. Now it is in attack. But I do think that he's just a little bit outnumbered in that fight. I do love seeing these corrosive vials come down, cleaning up overlords. You know, denies vision, and if he gets enough of them, again, it's just going to supply block his opponent, and that's super annoying. We do see the Lurker Den coming down now. The Infestation Pit is out. We're seeing Hydras being built. We're continuing to see upgrades. You know, I will say I do love how Regret is on top of his upgrades this game. That said, you know, we're really seeing Dark Menace starting to catch up, doing those double upgrades as well. And these players are starting to get into a position where they're a little more evened up. Again, the tech is really what is favoring Regret at this point. Dark Menace has that worker advantage. He has that income advantage. But the army and the tech, the army is super close, and the tech favors Regret just a little bit. We're going to have to see how this is going to play out. The upgrade advantage is about to disappear. But these lurkers here should hold strong on this position. Oh, and he's hold position to the lurkers. They're not firing. He's trying to bait Dark Menace in. Oh, I love this. Oh, if he unhold fires, yeah, there it goes. There it goes. The army just melts. That was so beautifully done. Dark Menace had no idea. There you go. You can see Dark Menace recognizing. That was fantastic thinking on Regret's fault. And now he's way up. He's almost double the army supply of his opponent. You know, it's interesting, actually, the armor upgrades are about to be favoring Dark Menace, while Regret has been ahead all game. That is going to change for just a little bit. But this third or fourth base, I should say, from Dark Menace is pretty much forfeit, and he's actually not even killing it off. He's trying to pounce forward. Meanwhile, the army of Dark Menace is moving to the other side of the map. I mean, I get that you want to do some harassment over there, but that's... I think splitting up the army like that is probably going to come back to haunt him. He really needs everything he can to defend here. But we're going to see, of course, you know, pouncing in here on the main is Regret. He's going to take that down. The army of Dark Menace on the other side of the map being kind of body blocked from getting in by workers as best as possible. Safety Spines doing what they can, but this is going to be tough. We are in kind of a base trade scenario here, but I think that a base trade is unquestionably favoring Isaac. He's starting to bring back some lurkers, but there was detection. I could have sworn, I don't know where it went. There's a Nidus Worm. I don't even know when that happened. To try to evacuate what he can, but honestly, I see there is a base, a hidden base being built, a couple of them, by Dark Menace to just try to stay alive. Oh, he's using it to bring back the army. Okay, I love this. All right, so Regret's army is way bigger. He just wins in a straight up fight. So using a Nidus Worm to shuttle his army back to his main, that's fantastic. That's really, really great. And the army is gone now for Dark Menace. 4-70. This game is effectively over at this point. There's just cleanup work that has to happen. I mean, that's it. There's only one worker for Regret at this point, but he does have a little bit of money. He could build more. The real trick is, of course, just going to be running around, finding his opponent who has no army. Obviously he doesn't know that his opponent has no army, but he just has to move out on the map and find the bases and kill it. His opponent really can't do anything about it. One of the bases being scouted, some of the last few buildings from previous bases, and there's the GG getting called by Dark Menace. Regret wins game number 4, and we are now tied up 2-2 in this best of 7 series. That was a game. I don't.
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break here. While I think restroom break here, but that was a nice tie-up game for Mr. Regret there. The lurker fire. That's such an old move that I don't see as often, but it's so good.
Oh, it was fantastic. It really baited the army. You could see that Dark Menace was wasting his biles trying to kill overlords instead of trying to kill those lurkers. And then that was beautifully done.
I play Zerg a lot, and I might have done that like twice in my life. I'm not sure, because when I do it, I'm like waiting forever and it doesn't work, and I lose patience. So.
Yeah, it's a very gutsy move, but when it pays off big.
Yeah, and you can see the screen right there. If you're watching the stream, we're showing Dark Menace, and Regret was there. He went to take his turn on this bathroom break. So they're probably thinking about it now, thinking about what to do next. It's a tie series. It seems a lot closer than people think. Damon, when we had this matchup, we thought it was gonna be overwhelmingly in Dark Menace's favor, but right now it's 2-2.
Yeah, Dark Menace, I think, has just not been. I just don't think he's properly thinking about his opponent here. I think he has. I think he's kind of flipped around from underestimating to overestimating his opponent, and it keeps biting him.
Yeah.
And I think he probably just needs to get out of his own head and just play standard.
Oh, I like that. I like to hear something like that, right? Instead of being desperate, go back and relax. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you're favored in a series, but you're tied, right? You're not just you're not performing the way that you normally want to prefer. Yeah, go back to what's normal. Go back to what you know. Don't try to get fancy. Don't try to get cute. Do what you're good at and trust that that's going to take you through.
Correct. All right. Well, guys, this is FSL Code S.
FSL Season 2.
And we're starting up here, getting into game number 5 on Romanticide, which is a very interesting map name. Killing people with romance, I guess. It is a very pink map. I guess that's what they're going for. All right, and we're starting to load in here. All right. And in the top left-hand corner, this is And his opponent in the bottom right, this is
Regret.
You know, I'm really thrilled that this is 2-2. You know, it's coming in, especially with the ZVZ, right? These can swing really hard. You know, momentum is a thing, and it's really could have easily been in either direction. You know, a pretty quick, 4-0, 4-1 situation. The fact that we're at 2-2, next 2 maps wins. We're now, it's basically now a best of 3. throw out all the games that were before. We're now in a best of 3. And which player is going to come out on top? We do see both players going hatch before pool. We don't see a gas out of Dark Menace yet, so we might be seeing him go gasless again. Again, we've seen that he likes this style, and that taking that gas and going for that early aggression last game didn't work out for him. So again, this might be kind of that correction that I was talking about, where he's trying to go back to what he thinks is strongest for him and what he's most comfortable with. We just have to see if that's going to work out and play out the way that he hopes that it will. While I look at this screen and wait for decisions to get made. Yeah, there's that safety spine. Dark Menace loves these safety spine crawlers. I keep bringing this up, and if you're not a regular StarCraft viewer, Damon, Filthy Rig, why do you keep talking about these safety spine crawlers? These are actually early game a pretty big mineral investment. They might keep you alive if you are attacked early on, but if you're not, that was money you could have spent on units, on buildings, on upgrades. So if you don't wind up needing it, it was kind of a waste. So you don't see it very often at the higher levels, unless there's like mind games going on usually. Again, these guys are diamond. This is completely normal for that level, but it is still a risk. We call it safety, but it's actually a slightly risky play because it does put you at a little bit of a disadvantage against non-aggressive builds. We do have both players completely even on workers. Very small army supply lead. 2 extra lings here from Dark Menace, and we're seeing Regret doing what he's been doing. He's getting his pneumatized carapace for his overlord speed. Oh, and we do have a pause request here from Regret. Not sure what's going on, but we will sit tight. I will say, though, you can see here, right, again, Regret he's got that pneumatized carapace, his ling speed is just about done, he's got the Evo chamber coming out, he's got a Baneling nest started. Looks like we're seeing lag, potentially, from the players, could be why we're pausing.
Alright, I guess there's a little bit of lag. We're waiting. We're showing on camera the 2 guys playing, Dark Menace and Regret, on screen right now while we wait.
Look at these handsome nerds, as Day9 used to call them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the young guns, right? The young Zergs.
Oh, and it sounds like we are good to go, and the game is resuming. I do think, right, this is... You can really see this stylistic difference between the players here, right? Regret wants to play that high-tech, macro-y game. Dark Menace likes these gasless, kind of, funkier, okay, we're going to do a big... It's kind of sledgehammer push that maybe you don't see coming all at once. A little bit safer style, I think. It's very interesting though for these 2 guys. That's why I love StarCraft, right? Everybody doesn't play the same. You see these little differences in how they think and how they play. Regret is supply blocked again. He sure likes being in the red for units. We do have banlings coming out. We have, there's the Roach Warren for Regret. He's got his ranged attack upgrade. Dark Menace, here we go, starting to get his gases, getting his extra drones. So yeah, he's going to flood these guys into gas, and then he's going to just pump out roaches like crazy. There's his lair. There's the roaches starting. But again, right, because he's taking his gas so late, right, he hasn't banked gas. He doesn't have anything for upgrades. Basically, what the idea of this is right, you have those workers entirely in minerals. You're saving money by not having the gases, and what workers you do have are just minerals, 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 minerals. Builds up a little bit of bank to help build those roaches. But yeah, it's at the expense of things like upgrades. And then, now he can get his upgrades started. He's getting his 1-1, which is fantastic. But until his 1-1 finishes, he's going to be an upgrade behind Regret for a little while. Now, when they finish this, he'll actually be ahead because he'll have his armor upgrade, and that is not yet started by his opponent. Like I said, just it creates these little periods of time where things are not super even. You see one of the Evo chambers being killed by Regret. I don't know if he was blocked in or what. We do have, of course, the third base coming up for Dark Menace. And there we go. Regret is starting to move out onto the map with his units. Have to see what he's looking to get done here, if this is a big attack or if this is just kind of a little poke. But I do think the army is being scouted here by this Overlord. Yeah, Dark Menace should see this coming. He's supply blocked, so he can't really flood units. But this has been scouted. The Lings darting in, they're just going to get picked off by these roaches, and I think that was a mistake. It was useful in that it gave him some scouting information, but that extra little bit of DPS from those Lings really could have helped. Some nice Biles land there. The army is better and bigger for Regret, but I think he's just going to back off. Losing those Lings, not having that reinforcement advantage like Dark Menace has. I thought he was just going to leave, but he's just kind of dancing around. But he's losing that upgrade advantage. It's about to even out, and then he's going to wind up behind right after it. Every second works against Regret here. And there we go. Dark Menace now has the upgrade lead. He's pouncing on this army, and he is just going to tear it absolutely to pieces. Yeah, and this is a really rough position for Regret here. He's way down in supply. Roach is just getting picked off all over the place. And from here, he really has to watch out because Dark Menace can just kind of A-move, right? He's got a very large army supply. It's ahead, there's some emergency spines being built, but they're not ready. They're going to be done in a little while. And yeah, here we go. We're just going to see how this goes. Reinforcements continuing to flood across the map here. Baneling Nest is at risk. These spines are actually going to maybe finish, but the Roach Warren is going to go down. No more roaches can come out. One of the spines is done. The second spine is going to finish, but supply is hugely in favor of Dark Menace here, and Army of Regret is getting cleaned up. There's the GG. Dark Menace pulls ahead 3-2 with honestly just some really solid play. Again, you're right, that gasless opening, just he seems so comfortable with it, and I really think that's the right call, right? Play to your strengths, play to your comfort zone in these high-pressure tournament situations. And now he's at match point.
Yeah, match point took longer than we thought, but I'm happy to see it's 3-2 right now, so there's still 2 more games, at least. Oh, well, at least one game, but...
At least one.
Yeah. But we basically made it to a game 6. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely fantastic. We do have one of the players needs a moment before we get this next game started. And these have been some exciting matches. Neither player is like just making mistakes, right? They're not like blundering horribly, right? These are
Yeah.
both players. Both players are playing pretty well, right? It's little things that are tripping them up.
Exactly. On that when Regret was running away, the map kind of screwed him because he clicked somewhere and it split up his roaches, and then he realized, so he clicked it to go back, and then they went and they kept getting shot on the retreat, right?
Yeah, well, and that was great by Dark Menace too, because he also split, right? He put his roaches kind of surrounding the main body, but then when those other roaches of Regrets tried to come back, they ran into these larger number of roaches that were already there.
Yeah, and that's the nature of these roach versus roach battles. Sometimes if you see the enemy lose that many roaches, you're like, I can go kill you. You don't have enough. There's no way you can produce enough, right? That kind of thing. So that really turns the tides. That's when you see in the GSL level games, you see like the big fight and the other guy loses a lot of roaches. They're instantly known. They GG out.
Yep. Regret had that window, right? He had a bigger army. He had the upgrade advantage. And when he got scouted, he threw those lings away. And I think that really is probably what cost him. If he had those lings while he had that upgrade advantage, he could have had that momentum and potentially taken that game. But just again, every bit of delay worked in Dark Menace's favor.
Yeah, it was a very minor thing. Or if he just shot it all the way up the base or something, caused some problems there.
And we're going into the next game. I've lost count now. We're at game 6.
Yeah.
FSL Season 2.
This is on Submarine.
Number 4 is the Observer Neutrophil. Take it away.
All right. So up here in the top left-hand corner, this is
Dark Menace.
and his opponent down in the bottom right, ignoring his banter. This is
Regret.
Dark Menace is a little bit sad that his banter is being ignored. That said, it's Dark Menace was supply blocked for a while there. Kind of an interesting opening there. Didn't really impact anything, but his Overlord was a bit late. Too busy trying to, chat up his opponent, get into his head a little bit, play those mind games. Will be interesting to see. We have the fast gas again there from Regret. Pool coming out here from Dark Menace. So again, looks like we might... Oh, nope, all right. Well, I was about to say we might be seeing another gasless opening from Dark Menace, but there is the gas going down. Again, he's up. He knows he's match point. He can lose this game and not have it be the end of the world. Obviously, he wants to win it. But this is an opportunity where he can change it up a little bit if he really wants. That said, I worry. He seems to be doing best when he goes gasless. So we'll have to see. That's what take a minute to talk about this amazing StarCraft country music that we're listening to here. I appreciate the space cowboy theme to the game. And apparently you all might be hearing different music than I'm hearing, but you're missing out, that's all I'm saying. We do see ling speed here coming out from both players. Again, this is much more of a standard game. Neither player is doing anything too out of the ordinary just yet. And Regret has a very small worker lead. But nothing game-defining. We do have a pretty quick Evo chamber here coming out from Regret, which is interesting. Be curious to see what he is going for here. We're starting to see a lot of lings. So I would say that aggression is likely coming here. Neither player has a Baneling Nest yet. There we go. There is the melee attack upgrade for Regret, and there's the Baneling Nest for Dark Menace. So basically what we're going to wind up here, there's the Baneling Nest for Regret as well. So it's going to be interesting if you might see like a timing where you try to hit before the banelings of the other player, but he isn't going to want to attack before that melee upgrade in all likelihood, and that is not going to finish before the baneling nest. So this is going to be a interesting game. Obviously, the melee upgrade doesn't help against banelings. Baneling explodes, and lings die around it. But it will be useful taking out other lings and killing workers. We're just gonna have to see. Oh, there's the flood of lings moving across the map here from Regret. No banelings yet from either player. Oh, there we go. Banelings just now starting to finish up. Oh, and this is where ZVZ gets so scary. One wrong baneling connection. Oh, and those were some big ones. We just have to wait and see here, but the baneling explosions have really favored Dark Menace, sending his own lings across the map now here as well, intercepting the lings, which I think were on move command, so he gets some free kills here. And now Regret is on the back foot. He's down in workers, he's down in army supply, he's got that safety spine, emergency spine, I guess, really, rushing out. The melee attack upgrade is coming, but it's not done just yet. And, whew, these baneling hits. Now, the banelings are pretty cleared up, but, there's more lings for Dark Menace right now. And I don't know that Regret is going to be able to hold on long enough for his reinforcements or his safety spine to do a whole lot of good. The spine crawler is doing its best, but those baneling connections are just brutal. And Dark Menace has even hidden a couple of lings into the corner of the base. He's morphing them into banelings. He's going to run those into the worker line in a little bit. Regret doesn't know that they're there. And this is a tough position to recover from. He's down army supply, he's down workers, and he's got that upgrade advantage, but melee is not the upgrade he needed. Unfortunately, he needed to go Carapace here. He just wasted his banelings and a bunch of workers. 6 workers just died that he could not afford those hidden banelings in his base. This is a really rough position for Regret. Dark Menace is double the supply right now. He's, while the army supply is even and while he's down in upgrades, it's not the upgrade that really matters in a Ling Baneling fight. That Carapace upgrade would help his units survive those Baneling hits, and that's really what he needs here. He's doing his best to pick off those Banelings. He's actually doing a pretty good job. Dark Menace is picking off the Banelings of Regret as best he can. And he's taking a third. Lings continuing to flood out here from Dark Menace. This third base of his will probably get canceled. Yeah, there it goes. Both players just continuing to... Isaac Regret is not. He's trying to macro back up. He's got a queen, he's got some drones, but... I mean... This is a really, really tough position. There's a lot of lings that can just run across the map here. Yeah, that spine is really low on health. It is not going to hold on for too terribly long in any real engagement. Oh, and that was most of the lings of Isaac. Regret. Dark Menace could pretty much just A-move again. He took out the spine. There's 2 Banes left. Dark Menace, I think, is just playing this a little too safe. He's really taking that base again. He's trying to pump units out. I mean, he's in such a good position that it's going to be tough for him to throw this game away, but... We just have to wait and see here. There we go. There's no banelings left. And I think it has been seen. The door was left open. Lings are starting to flood in. That spine's coming up, but it's going to die. There we go. There's GG. And Dark Menace takes the series 4-2.
Well, guys, that was the six-game series. You know, it's a series of best of 7. I was hoping for at least 6, so we got that at least, right? I hate 4-0s.
Yeah, honestly, that's about as good of a series as you could reasonably hope for.
Exactly. All right. So, for some reason, it's showing regret here on the the screen, but it was Dark Menace that won that. And let's give him that the due on that. But anyway, you can see them on the screen now. The two. Let's do an interview. Are they on, Seth?
Yep, they're both on.
All right. So regret. It's a nice showing you had. You had a couple games that actually could have gone your way, but it was just a couple of miscontrols here and there. Particularly game 5, where you were retreating, but your roaches kind of went a couple different ways, and they just got killed on the retreat, right? Did you notice that? Was that just misclicks?
I noticed it when they died, so
Yeah.
that was pretty useful.
that was not useful. Yeah, exactly. Filthy Rake Damon, any questions for regret?
Honestly, I don't have a lot of questions. I just want to say that those were some really, really fantastic games. If anything, I would say that you really played what to me were really sharp games. You're on top of your upgrades. Did you? Your opponent, Dark Menace, was playing kind of a little more all over the place. You played fairly consistently most games. Your opponent played with very different styles, especially with those gasless openings. Did that kind of throw you for a loop at all, or did you have a pretty good feel for what was coming?
I just kind of assumed that he would go for a Roach Ravager all in every time. So those times when he did the Zergling Baneling Micro kind of surprised me, actually. And the thing is, I know he's better at Zergling Baneling wars because actually in one of our show matches, the series, Dark Menace and I were in a 2v2 team, and we were paired up together, and we were like, okay, to decide who's gonna go do the Zergling Baneling micro in the beginning, we're gonna do a micro war, and then he won every battle. So we couldn't fight him on that one.
There was a couple of games, particularly where you had the mutas, where you actually had a huge advantage, but you kind of waited for a while in your base with your mutas. Were you just wanting a lot more mutas, or what was your game plan on that one?
But I just felt like I didn't have enough mutas. 6 mutas doesn't get a whole lot done.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that one was definitely good. That was a good opener for you. Definitely had the advantage, but it's just a little bit too late when you pushed out. So that was game 2, but a couple of games here or there. This is a different series. You might have taken it, but nice showing. Regret. Congrats on being Code A champion and moving up and playing the Code S player here, and you showed that you belong. So nice job to the season. We'll see you in season 3. Regret.
All right, thank you very much. Okay.
All right, and Dark Menace, congratulations on winning this match. You're moving on to the playoffs. Who are you facing? Let's go check that really quick. Do you know? I think you probably know. You kind of knew. You've been watching the.
I'm sorry.
It's Seth.
Oh.
Mr. Seth I'm playing, I guess.
Oh, you're playing Seth. Oh, okay, yeah, the random player. Got it. Well, it looks like he'll be ready for that. He knows what you are. You don't know what he'll be because he's random. So you have a few days to practice. Congratulations again on moving on. Thank you, Damon Knight, for casting with us. Maybe you can join us in season 3. People are looking forward to your canon mothership shenanigans.
Thank you very much for having me. No promises just yet on the next season, but we'll see.
Got it. Yeah, you'll be seated in Code S if you do play, by the way. So, all right, guys. Thanks. This is Freedom signing off on tonight's matchup. We only have one, and we'll see you next week. We're actually taking a break over this weekend because of Halloween. So happy Halloween to all you peoples out there. Be safe. We'll see you on the next broadcast. That will be, I think, November 6th. That's a Friday. So till then, thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Later, guys. All right. Thanks, Damon. Man, appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, KJ. Later, man.
Later, dudes. All right. So I guess those that are that want, we can do some team games. In the meantime, I'm gonna continue streaming and play some ladder. So